Okay, welcome back. Well, today we're going to look at Standard 5.2b, which is ordering, comparing, and ordering decimals. And the important thing to remember when you're comparing and ordering decimals is that they need to be the same length. So, for example, if you have the decimal 2 and 4/10 and the decimal 2 and 39 hundredths, you need to add a 0 to the back of the 2 and 4/10 so that they're the same length. And then you can compare each place. So my 2's are the same. And then right here in the tenths place is where we can see which one is the greatest. And we can see that the 4 is greater than the 3. So the 2 and 4/10 is greater than the 2 and 39 hundredths. So always add zeros to the back, because remember, when you're looking at decimals, the length doesn't matter. So even though the 2 and 39 hundredths was the longer one, it ended up being the smaller one. So length doesn't matter when you're comparing and ordering decimals. Okay, so let's take a look at your paper, and we're going to look at number 1. Okay, and the instructions say Tammy records her weight loss on a chart. Based on the information from Tammy's chart, which comparison is true? Okay, and A, B, C, and D, you can see that it's comparing and it wants to know which week is greater compared to the other week. So what we need to do is we need to add zeros to all of these so that we can get them to be the same length, and then we can look at those. So each of them go out to the thousands place. Each of them should have 3 places after the decimal. Okay, so we can start looking at A. A says week 1 loss is less than week 2. Okay, so let's look at just week 1 and week 2. So in the ones place, the ones are the same. And right here in week 1, you can see that the 4 is bigger than the 2. So week 1 is actually greater than week 2. So I'll write it over here. We can see that here's week 1 and here's week 2. And the ones, those are the same. Okay, so I'll come out here to the tenths place. And the 4 is bigger than the 2. So the 4, or week 1, should be greater than week 2. Okay, let's look at B, week 3 and week 4. So I'm going to go ahead and write them 0 and 900 thousandths compared to week 4, which is 1 and 400 thousandths. Okay, and in the ones place, 1 is bigger than 0, so we can tell in the ones place which one is bigger, and the 1 is bigger than the 0. So it should actually be the other direction. Week 4 is bigger than week 3. So A and B are both out. Let's look at C, week 4 and week 1. So week 4, I'm going to write it over here as 1400, and week 1 is 1400. So one is not bigger than the other. They're actually equal. So C is out. So let's just take a look at D, 2 and 4. 2 is 1.256, and week 4 is 1.400. Okay, my ones place, those are the same. But here my tenths place, this is where they're different. And 4 is bigger than 2. So week 4 is greater than week 2. So D was our answer. So notice I had to do some work out here. I had to write them each down. I had to line up my decimal points, line up my places, and then I was able to compare place by place. Okay, so 1 is done. Put a check mark on it. Let's come over and let's look at number 4. So it says Waylon, Lila, and Braden buy yogurt at a yogurt shop. Waylon's yogurt, okay, weighs 5 and 74 ounces. Lila's yogurt weighs 5 and 8/10 ounces. And Braden's yogurt weighs 5 and 487 thousandths ounces, which correctly compares the weights of Wayland's yogurt and Braden's yogurt. Okay, so there's some extra information here. Whose is the extra? Right, Lila. We don't care about Lila. It just asked about Wayland and Braden. So I'm going to actually mark Lila out. Okay, and Wayland was 5 7/400, and Braden was 5 487 thousandths. Okay, notice how I lined my decimal up. I'm going to put a 0 on the back so they're even. I'm going to start comparing places. 1's place is the same. Oh, but right here, 10's place. 7 is bigger than 4, so my alligator mouse should be eating the 5 74. So that would be which one? This one down here. Okay, 5 74/100 and 5 487 thousandths. J was the correct answer. Okay, so just remember to line your decimals up, to compare each place. Take your time and think about these.